What is shaking? It's Monday. You know how we like to do it on Monday. We talk to our favorite tight end, number 84 in your program, number 1 in your hearts. The show brought to you by, I should say, Brent Jones. Well, you know it's Brent Jones right there. I'm getting ahead of myself. Show brought to you by Phil Work, the official non-alcoholic beer of the San Jose Sharks. And if you are observing Dry January, which a lot of you are, Fieldwork has the NA beer for you. I'm not observing. I usually don't observe. But if you are, they have very good non-alcoholic beer there, and you can grab them at the tank, so you are good to go. And by the way, the China Basin, I don't even know if it's called, I'm going to call it the brewery. I guess it is a brewery. They serve beer there, but it's right across McCovey Cove from the ballpark. It's going to be it's incredible now, but it'll be incredible when the baseball season starts. Go over there, grab a field work, head over to the game. That'll be sweet. We're probably going to do a show or two over there as well. So field work, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Mr. Jones, how are you?
Tommy, I'm better than I was on Saturday night.
Yeah, that was so I had a game Saturday night, and I told everybody when I go to the games, I tell them, don't tell me what happened. I'm going to try to stay away from the score. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Kind of a crapshoot. And I actually did this time. I managed to stay away because it was a 7:00 game. So I got there at halftime, went to the broadcast booth at half, and then by the time the game was over, the Niner game had been over for a couple hours. So I was able to go to the car, drive home. I was like, okay, cool. I don't know what's going on. And then after about 3 hours, I was like, shit, I went through all that for that? That was just – look, here's the thing, Brent, and I don't know if you agree with me. Seattle's just better. Seattle is better as comprised. Like, we've talked about this all year long, and I know it sounds like excuses, but it's not. These guys aren't the 49ers of the first game of the season when they beat the Seahawks. And the Seahawks are better. They might have the best defense in the league. Like, they're just better. The fact that it was 13-3 is a minor miracle that they were that close, and they were a tip ball / McCaffrey kind of drop, although I'm not going to put that on him as much because the ball was tipped, changed trajectory, all that crap. But Seattle they were just better. They are better. They were better on Saturday night. It kind of sucked watching it because they couldn't get anything going offensively. But you know what? I tend to look at it, and I know people are going to go, oh, come on, you're being too easy on them. Like, it seems 12-5 with all the injuries they have, and they still got a decent shot at going to Philly and getting a win. So I don't know. It was kind of a bummer, but not too much of a bummer for me.
Yeah, I think Seattle's the best team in the NFL right now.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And my hat's off to them. They played a freaking great game. They probably could have scored some more points.
Yeah.
They didn't execute on a few plays. We made a few plays defensively that kept the score tight. Everybody I talked to said, our defense is horrible. And I'm like, where have you been all season? Like, our guys are playing their butts off. Yeah. Are they perfect? No. But they held the Seahawks to 13 points. If you would have told me before the game, Seahawks are going to score 13, I would have taken it all day long. I would have put your house on it. I would have put –
Hey, hold on a second. Brent's going to end up at my door Sunday morning. Tom, I lost your house. Sorry about that.
Yeah, man, that's always a tough one.
It would have been for me.
But I will say this. Both of our lines got drastically outplayed on Saturday night. And everything else didn't matter at that point. It just didn't matter. Purdy didn't really have much of a pocket to throw out of. Our guys weren't getting much separation. They were playing too deep, little cloud coverage, and kind of with that little tighter zone. We don't have the speed to get down the field and blow the top off. And if you can rush 4 and put pressure on the quarterback, you freaking are going to win a lot of games. And they were studly. They just were. Does that mean we can't beat them if we play them again? No, it doesn't mean that. But on that Saturday, they were the better team. And I still was bummed. And I don't want to say I was frustrated. I just felt like the only time in the game where I was ready to cheer and thought we had a chance was on that McCaffrey drive. And people don't understand, just a slight tip and deflection of the ball makes it flutter different. And you can't always account for that from the release to when it gets to you. And so does Christian McCaffrey catch that 99 times out of 100? Yes. Was that the one time he didn't? Yes. But it still was fluky and it was unfortunate. But that was the only point in time where I thought, wow, we might have a chance. Yeah. And it went away like that. And I kind of felt like the whole game was pretty much like that, just not having a whole lot to cheer about.
Well, to me, when I was watching it, I just felt like the Niners were just hanging on. It reminds me of that poster with the kitty and the tree. It's like, hang in there. Like they were just barely hanging on because it looked like Seattle was just running the ball at will. They were moving the ball at will. Then they'd get down. First drive of the game, they get down there. And by the way, it's not just McDonald, but I see it all the time now. Tomlin did it last night. Like, it's okay to take 3 points. 3 points. When did 3 points become a negative? I understand you want to be aggressive, and I understand there are times to go for 2. But gee whiz, I mean, we're going for like 4th and 2, 4th and 3. Like, hey, let's just go for it. Like, hey, we 3 points. Like, and it's not just about the points. You get down there, first drive, you drive down, kick a field goal. Everybody's feeling good. Your face sideline's feeling good. Like, hey, good first drive. We got it validated with some points. Instead, what you do is you go down there and the other team gets all kinds of momentum and like puff their chest out. Like, yeah, you guys drove the ball all the way down the field, but you didn't score. I'll get into that at some point, but I just say these coaches have gone nuts now. But I just felt like the Niners were just hanging in there like by a couple fingernails, like because it seemed like if Seattle had to move the ball, they would move the ball. If they needed to get a stop, they would get a stop. Like I felt like Seattle probably could have opened it up a little bit more, but decided why would we? These guys they can't move the ball on us right now. And again, no Williams, no Pearsall. It was going to be tough offensively. It was tough offensively. And I give them credit just for being what they've been this year, which is, and I hate using this word resilient, but they just are like in-game resiliency where they just kind of hang around and find themselves in games or winning games that you're thinking, wow, how did they manage to do that? And again, this isn't 19. What was the other Super Bowl run? Was that 23, 20, I guess 22, 23? I can't remember what year it was. But this isn't that. Where if they lose a game like this in this fashion, you're like, oh shit, that can't happen. Like you're too good to have that. They're not. They weren't the best team in this matchup. And again, it's gonna sound like it is. I know what it sounds like because everyone wants to be mad. You didn't win. You got dominated for what the score was, right? That's what everybody wants to be. They want to be angry and they want to look for excuses why your team lost. And that's just the way sports is. Instead of looking at the other team and saying, what did they do right? Why are they better? Are they better than us? Maybe, but everybody wants to be angry. I just think, like, I look at it, Brent, Seattle's better. Seattle could have won, maybe even should have won by more. They're healthier. And that's just, I'm sorry. Like again, the Niners, I've used the term dancing in between raindrops this year. They have. The raindrops were hitting them on Saturday night. They just couldn't get out of they were pelting them. They just couldn't get out of the way.
That loss, Tom, is not going to take away my joy from this season. We're 12-5 and we're in the playoffs. Take that all day long. You have to rewind back a couple months to obviously we lost Bosa early and then losing Fred Warner. And at that point in time, I thought there's no way we're making the playoffs. I mean, we weren't. We were Swiss cheese on defense. We're resilient. This has been a rewarding season. There's a really strong togetherness in the locker room on this team. They play their hearts out. Are they perfect? No. But we're better than a hell of a lot of teams right now across the NFL that are home, that are on vacation right now. And I was bummed the way the matchup worked out. I was praying for the Panthers because I think we'd smoke them. Philadelphia is going to be a challenge, but let's not forget the Eagles are not perfect this year. The Eagles offensive line, is not the same as it used to be. Now, obviously, Saquon is Saquon, so we're going to have to be ready. We've got to practice tackling this week. We're just way too many missed tackles, and missed tackles have nothing to do with your opponent. It's you. It's missing tackles. So defense has to be better at wrapping up, getting guys on the ground. Can't have missed tackles. Can't have three-quarters effort. That will be a key. But the Eagles defense isn't infallible. I promise you, we can freaking get after them. And it's not going to be like what we just experienced against Seattle. So we have every bit the shot to beat the Eagles as the Eagles do to beat us. I'd say it's a 50-50, and you don't know what you're going to get till game day.
Yeah, it's interesting because the strengths of each team is opposite of one another. The strength of the Niners is their offense, strength of the Eagles, their defense, and the weakness for the Eagles this year has been their defense, and Niners, their offense. Let me nitpick just for a second, ask you, I think I know what you're going to say since I know what position you played, but is there the one thing I would have liked to see against Seattle, and I don't know if the matchups just didn't work, that I don't know, but I wouldn't mind seeing Kittle and Tonjes out there together a little bit. Tonjes has proven that he's a guy that can get open and catch the ball, and he's a good catch. I don't know how good a route runner is, but I know he gets open. I know he catches the ball, and Kittle can be your extra blocker, and he also is just all world at everything. And with the lack of wide receivers, is that something you think maybe we could see? I don't know. I don't want to say could see, maybe should see. Would you like to see the two tight ends out there together?
I do. I would. I'd love to have at least a couple packages where they're out there together, and that probably hasn't been our strength in years past. So maybe we haven't spent enough time on it, but I think it certainly should show up this week in some way, shape, or form. It would have been nice the other night. It just felt like our receivers weren't getting the separation that they needed, and the type of coverage that we were getting was just kind of locking them down. And so you got to find holes in that intermediate zone. It probably wouldn't have mattered relative to the time that Purdy was getting and the pressure. But yes, I agree. I think you got to use everything that you can. And Jake Tonjes has been a strength for us this year. And it also maybe takes away some of the focus on Kittle. Once Tonjes catches a pass or two, and all of a sudden they have to play it straight up. So it's good because he can do something with the ball, but it's also good because of the way it changes the way the defense has to play the rest of everybody else. You put in a viable receiver, they have to start accounting for him. And we didn't have that the other night. And it just kind of felt like, we don't think you have anybody fast enough to beat us deep. I think Scott was in for a play. We might have missed him on one play because of the pressure. He might have gotten downfield. It's always tough to tell during a broadcast because unless they highlight it, you don't see the route after the receiver gets out of the picture. But I 100% agree with you, and I think that we will see that in at least some shape or form this next week.
Somebody asked, what about more 13 formations like the Rams did? I don't know that they have a third tight end they want to put out there, but I know, look, Kyle loves Juszczyk, and the way they use Juszczyk now, I mean, this guy's in motion damn near every play. He needs an IV. He needs an IV after every series. The guy lines up. He's like a wing back, and then he either veers back toward McCaffrey, the backfield, or he shoots across. I mean, he's always in motion. And it worked a lot better. It worked a lot better against the Bears because their defense isn't quite as good as Seattle. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be for that just because I like Juszczyk on the field as much as possible. I think he's a good blocker. I like to see him use him a little bit more sometimes in the passing game. But yeah, that to me, that's the Rams personnel. Like they don't do the fullback thing. They got two tailbacks and they got three tight ends that are really good. And we'll see how much they use it now that Devontae Adams is back against Carolina. But I don't know about you. Brent, but that's something that I mean, I don't really think much of it because that takes Juszczyk off the field, and I like having Juszczyk on the field.
Yeah, I think you could almost, in some instances, almost count him as a
yeah, that's true.
In a sense, if you had Tonjes out there and all of a sudden all those guys are capable, I think one of the things that we realized the other night was, holy crap, we're going to have to keep, Kyle in to block more, and even that probably didn't completely help us, and so it was a situation where he didn't get involved in much catching the ball, where it's every now and then, he makes big plays and kind of some chunk plays, and we just weren't able to pull that off. And so does that matter? Yes and no. It'd be nice to maybe have a play or two, as a change up, but I don't think this team is built to get rich off of the 13 formation.
Yeah. Do you think Morstead will had to get an IV after Saturday night as much as he was used?
Oh, gosh, man. I kept waiting for him to fake one. I thought we were going to get a fake in there, but that could have maybe given us some energy. But, man, it felt like nothing worked all night. And, sometimes those games happen. And I've been a part of a couple, and, you just got to tip your cap to the other team, say, hey, you got us. We'll look forward to next time. And hopefully there is a next time.
Yeah, look, I don't know. I just didn't read that much into the game. And I know fans want to read. Here's the thing about fans, Brent, that drive me nuts. Is when their team loses, they always look at, and I get it, that's the prism you're looking through, but it's always, what did we do wrong? Instead of, and I try, especially with Warrior fans, sometimes I'm like, you do realize they get paid too.
Yeah.
You do realize they're pros too. And sometimes their pros are better than your pros. Because that's just the way it is. You can't be the best all the time. I know Warrior fans, especially, were spoiled for like 5 years. They were living in Candyland for 5 years. Like, oh my God. Niner fans were living in Candyland for about a decade and a half, but it just, Seattle is just better. And they probably are better as constituted. Doesn't mean that the Niners can't beat them, but it's going to have to be a hell of a lot better effort than on Saturday. I shouldn't say effort, because that makes it sound like the effort wasn't there. Effort was there. They were just outclassed. That was the second game all year. I thought, you know what, they're just not good enough to beat this team. And the other one was the Rams in Santa Clara. The Rams were just better. So sometimes it happens. And again, I know it sounds like excuses, Brent, because I've been saying it. You don't say it a lot, but you said it occasionally. I mean, you basically lost a top 5 defensive end, a top 3, maybe top 1 linebacker, and, oh, by the way, your number 1 receiver that you're counting on to have back at some point. So it just, again, I hate to feel like I'm like, hey, wow, everything's great. It is, but I do feel mostly that way, that this team, it's an incredible job to be 12-5. And I'm not saying you should rest on it and go, okay, we're cool. If we get blown out by Philly, hey, we're still 12-5. That's good. It's not what I'm saying at all. In fact, I think they got a good chance to beat Philadelphia, but it's still, this is one year where I tend to look at mostly the positive, like, wow, what they were able to do this year has been pretty amazing. And you tip your cap to Seattle. You just say, hey, hell of a job, Seattle. You guys were better. You did a great job. You won the division. Well done. Now we'll see what happens.
I agree 100%. Yeah, no, I'm excited about it. I'm looking at this team as a glass half full team season. This game against Philly, I expect us to play much better than we did. It feels like, to me, the games where our defense has been flying around, and you can see it on the television or at the stadium. They've been flying around. Mustafa's in the backfield lighting a guy up. Our corners are up tight. We're not missing tackles. We don't have big gains on 3rd and 17 to give up.
Yeah, that was brutal. That was rough.
Yeah. So for whatever reason, I didn't see that as much. But that's the type of play we have to to have. We have to be precise. We can't let DNs go around us and hit Purdy. We got to make sure all of our assignments from an offensive line perspective are taken care of. We've got to get separation at wide receiver. We need more George Kittle. I want Kittle to have 7 or 8 catches against the Eagles. Maybe Tonjes here or there. We've got to get McCaffrey back in the passing game, get him over the middle on his option route. We weren't able to get in sync like we typically are. And when all those things are happening, then we're gonna have a much better chance to win the game. And so I think we'll see more of those in the game. I've heard the weather's supposed to be okay, which is great.
It is.
That's a positive. Eagles, I kind of feel like, if we start staying on top, I think their fans will turn on them a little bit. So it'd be great to get some momentum early, get a couple scores, get going, and feel good. Obviously, when you say that, but it's not the Eagles that were, the Super Bowl champs. That's certainly not the same team. They're the same. They haven't.
I'm glad you brought up the 3rd and 17. That was the only time I got that one I couldn't. That one I was a little upset. I was like, and I thought of a joke we used to say when I was playing basketball. Like if we were playing basketball and you had like 1 rebound and you played like a decent amount of minutes, like at least 15 minutes or so, had 1 rebound, we'd always say, "Wow, you had one more rebound than a dead guy." And I would always say, you could put a casket out there, a rebound would fall in it. Like, you got to be kidding me. You got 1 rebound. I would kill myself if 1 rebound 50. I was like, what the hell am I doing out there? Like when it was 3rd and 17 and they ran the ball, I just thought, geez, if they had 11 blind guys, wouldn't one of them bump into him? I mean, 3rd and 17. I was like, oh my God, that was. I think. I didn't go back and look at it. I think they ended up with a field goal. I think they might have ended up with a field goal that drive. Maybe they didn't. I'm not sure. But still, they were going to get better field position. I was like, you can't. Seattle was like giving up. They're just like, nah, okay, you got us this drive, 3rd and 17. But if Seattle had lost that game, I guarantee you they would have looked and said, oh, man, we just shot ourselves in the foot. Like every drive, missed it on 4th down, got a holding call, got a penalty. Maybe got 1 tackle for loss that somebody missed an assignment and we blew it. But again, I'm not sure. I could look it up, but I think the yards were something like 350 to 190 or something. Like again, they were just the better team. So let's jump forward to Sunday real quick, and then I want to ask you about the Pittsburgh game last night. But it seems to me this one, I mean, I think they have a chance, but they're going to have to stop the run. And that's not been their forte this year. They have not been great at stopping the run. Somehow, some way, they're going to have to get Seattle in passing situations. Because I think if you do that, you got a great chance. Matt Mayoka reporting that Tatum Bethune suffered a significant growing injury. Oh, he's going to be perfect.
Came on, which is not good news.
Why wouldn't they be? Hey, you know what? Why not? It has been their whole season this year where guys have been hurt. So that hurts because he's been good. He wasn't great Saturday against the run. In fact,
no, he's been solid.
He has been solid. So that's going to hurt, but I did look. Robert Saleh, go ahead and get after it again. I mean, he's kind of done it with smoke and mirrors a little bit this year, and sometimes there's been no smoke or mirrors, like against Chicago, but they just find a way to win the game. I still think they're going to need to score 24-28 because that's just who they are at this point. But
yeah,
I don't know. I don't care if you have to load up. I don't care what you have to do, but it can't be like just a blood dripping. It's like just load up against the run. And if they beat you passing, they beat you passing. Like if Jalen Hurts is going to beat you passing, then they're going to do that. But it can't be like 4 yards at a whack and just let them march the ball down the field. That to me will be the biggest key of the game. Can the Niner defense hold the Eagles run game in check?
Yeah. And it's funny because I was thinking about, okay, what would I do? And I would play probably some more 8-man front or at least 8-man in the box, not 8-man front, and the pressure on our defensive backs to cover and take our chances that way. The Philadelphia passing game has not really been in sync. They can obviously gas you with Devontae and AJ Brown, but they've struggled multiple games this year because they haven't been in sync. They've been different patterns. Hurts overthrowing the ball, throwing behind guys. I've watched a lot of their games. It's not perfect. You shut down AJ Brown for 3 or 4 series, and he's having a heart attack on the bench. And so you gotta. That's, in my opinion, our best shot, because if we play him with a lot of 7 men in the box and we just play our typical run defense, Saquon Barkley is going to kill us.
Yeah.
Charbonnet's, not to take anything away from him, he's played really well this year and he's had a good season, but he's not Saquon Barkley. And the Eagles' offensive line, their run blocking hasn't been as good this year, but it won't have to be against us. If, like I said, if they play their average game and we play our average game, that's not going to come out well for us. So we're going to have to take risks somewhere, and I'd rather stop the run and hopefully the Eagles' passing games stays a little dysfunctional.
Yeah, I just looked it up because I wanted to make sure. The Eagles are only averaging 4.2 yards per carry this year, 22nd in the league. So, I mean, again, their offense, that's why I say this is going to be an interesting matchup, because the strengths in this game will be opposing one another. The Eagle offense has not been a strength. Their offensive line has not been as good as it has been the past few years. They've had some injuries. Barkley hasn't been as good. Hurts hasn't been as good, but their defense is good. So it's going to be like the what is it? The movable object against the resistible force. When the Niner D goes against the Philadelphia offense, is what it's gonna be. But I suspect the defense will be much, or the offense going to be much better this week. I mean, it's got to be. I mean, I know the bar was pretty low against Seattle, but they need to figure out Pearsall if he's going to be a guy that this is. I mean, I like him a lot.
Me too.
But the saying goes, the best ability is availability, and if you can't be available, and this is going to kind of be his MO throughout the course of his career, that he's going to be injury prone. And it may be too early, probably is too early to even say that. But, you know, he's had some falls this year where you're like, didn't seem like a whole lot. And then he's out for 2, 3, 4 weeks. So, you know, that'll probably affect, and they're going to draft wide receivers anyway. But that always affects you in all sports, but especially in the NFL, doesn't it? When you're like, God, we really love you when you're on the field. You're just not on the field enough.
Yeah. No, and it's tough. I don't think, as a young player, I don't think he wants to miss this much time.
Sure, I agree.
And I get it, because when you lose a game, when you're banged up and everybody needs you, a lot of the focus is going to be on, hey, why aren't you out there? And I get it.
Yeah, I want to make it perfectly clear. I'm not questioning him at all.
No, I know.
I would never do that. That's one of my bigger pet peeves is when people do that.
You guys got to be a super clown to question him.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I get it, and it's tough just because, you know, we've been hurt at that position this year, and certainly Ayuk hurt us the most by being a knucklehead, and so.
Yeah.
That guy's a whole other case, but
yeah, he is.
But I agree with you. We need Ricky. He gives us the best chance. He creates a lot of separation and has good route running skills. And if he's healthy, we've got it. Or if he's semi-healthy, there's no tomorrow, right? Like, this is all in. You're staring at the off season if you lose. So let's get ready to play.
Yeah. No, I think if you're hurt, you're hurt. I'm just wondering if his body is up to the rigors of an NFL schedule. Or maybe it was this year where he got hurt and he was never able to quite get healthy, and then he just kept dinging the same thing. Because the one, I forget who it was against, but the one on the sideline where he came down on his knee and then he missed like 4 weeks. I'm like, that looked pretty like benign when it comes to NFL. But again, who knows what he's dealing with? Who knows what it is? But damn, they should certainly they should draft like they should do what the Angels did about 5 years ago in the Major League Baseball draft. 20 rounds, drafted 20 pitchers. Did it pan out?
Love the strategy.
Of course not. It's the Angels. The Niners should just draft like 8 wide receivers and just get a whole bunch of wide receivers and maybe throw in a right tackle and or maybe not a right tackle. McKibben's been fine. Maybe a tackle that could take over for Williams at some point, and then some defensive line help, and you're good. Yeah. Oh yeah, and maybe stay healthy.
3 areas would be great.
Just that's all they need.
Just 8 at each of those positions would be great.
Just a couple of those things, they'll be fine.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I mean, the biggest key I think Sunday is going to be is Trent Williams healthy. I mean, if Trent Williams isn't healthy, and like Pleasance is doing what he can, I thought he was actually okay against Seattle. Like he held up okay. The whole offensive line was having trouble with their front. I mean, that's a super athletic front. They might be the best front in football. But you're talking about one of the best in the game. And again, you can't keep taking guys off your team who are one of the best in the game at their respective position and just expect that it's not going to have an effect. I mean, it's again, that's why I said earlier on, Brent, it's amazing that they've lost some of these guys and still able to do what they do. But man, if they don't have him, then they need the big fella.
Yep. And I would say just block right here at the line of scrimmage. Don't worry about getting downfield to get an extra block. You stay here in the 3 or 4 yard range. We keep that hammy nice and fresh. We don't want you running. No sprints. We don't care. Walk to celebrate after a touchdown. You just take it easy, big fella.
The thing that kills is he pulled the hammy on Brock's pick. Chasing down a Chicago Bear. I was like, oh God. If that isn't like the microcosm of the Niners like injury woes this year, your left tackle gets hurt chasing a guy who picked the ball off on the first play of the game. Bro, it's just I mean, what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? We're in the playoffs.
What are you gonna do?
We're in the
playoffs. So from your perspective, since you've been here many times before, how does your perspective change when you head into the playoffs? How does the attitude change? Does the body all of a sudden feel like a little like healthier? Do you get a second wind? Does focus kind of sharpen a little bit? Tell everybody what it's like once you start heading into the playoffs as a player.
Yeah, I think the adrenaline starts to kick in because you know that you're one of the few that made it through the gauntlet. And so now you're fired up. Everybody, all the eyes of football fans are going to be on you. Your game is watched, your talent, your skills, all that. And so there's a little, and of course you want to get to the Super Bowl because that's truly the ultimate. Once you've tasted that, you know how special it is. And so all those things kind of go into your mindset, your preparation. I think it's weird to say, but the little things all of a sudden start to matter. So maybe it's staying out after practice 15 or 20 minutes each day to work on a specific play or a specific route or specific formation. Maybe you're taking another half hour and spending time watching film and breaking down specifically this opponent or my guy I'm going against. And so maybe you're getting to the training room an hour early in the morning to get, extra treatment. You change. I don't want to say you just keep doing the same thing, but maybe there's a little more time and attention where during the season you kind of get into a pattern. And I'm not saying that's not 100% because you are given 100%, but now it's like, can you give 110% and getting out there and making sure you're not missing everything, leave no stone uncovered come playoff time, encourage your buddies, make sure everybody in the locker room is stepping it up just that much more because you need that heightened focus and you need those little extra things because that's the difference sometimes in these playoff games.
Were you ever a guy that got up in front of the team and talked?
I try to think about that. I think I might have said something one or two times, but I wasn't the guy for sure. I mean, if we
I'm
had,
sure that was what
if we had
Joe
the
and
offense, if
Steve
we
and
had,
Ronnie.
there's times where your whole offense is there and they say, hey, does anybody have anything to say? And, you'd say, hey, yeah, this is this, or I think we got to focus on this, or, hey, just want to say our offensive line has been doing this, and these are the things that are going to make us successful. But I wasn't one of the hey, I'm going to talk in front of the whole team guys. I kind of felt like that was the captain's responsibility.
Yeah.
And if you had to say something, you'd go to a captain and let them know. The classic guys, Tom, are always the guys when they get that, every once in a while, it's not every week, but they'll get the camera in the pregame huddle and, the backup linebacker will come in and he's never saying anything. All right, guys, we got to kick some butt and we're going to be out there playing 100%. And it's like, oh, come on, dude. And there's one guy I guarantee on every team that's that guy. And
that guy.
It's don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy.
I can see it a mile away. Like it's like some guy that has no business, barking all of a sudden. But he's going to be on TV and he knows it. He jumps right in. Let's bring it in. Like, come on, dude. So weak.
All right, let me ask you a couple difference between Joe and Steve when it came to pregame speeches.
Yeah. Neither one of them were really big pregame speeches type of guys. Joe would say it in his normal voice, and it was like the expectation. So if Joe spoke, he was kind of like E.F. Hutton. When E.F. Hutton speaks, you listen back in the old days.
Yeah, back in the old days.
So it wasn't all the time. In fact, I just saw an NFL clip after we won our first playoff game in '88. We had lost to the Vikings the year before when Anthony Carter caught like 100 passes for 3,000
I
yards.
remember that game.
And we won the first game, and I think we're going to go play the Vikings next, or maybe we beat the Vikings. Anyway, Joe was in the locker room after talking about the type of focus and commitment, and that was as fiery as he got. He was more like, he'd tell you if he didn't think you were doing good, he'd say it in the huddle, or he'd say some sarcastic thing like, hey, Bubba, are you going to block the guy this game? Or, he just, that would be his kind of fire up.
Yeah.
Speech. Steve every once in a while would get that, we got to get out there and we got to, and so it was always, and maybe it would be like once a year, but there would be something that kind of got him going, or, who knows what it would be. But when he'd do it, I'd kind of get a smile on my face because I'd laugh, because it's like, it's probably not natural, Steve, but he's fired up about the game and he kind of wants everybody else to be fired up. So he's going to throw himself out there. I'm the starting quarterback. We got to do this. And it's like, come on, bro. Like, that's not you. Ronnie is always the classic guy, right? He's the number one guy. I think for a lot of years, Tom Rathman on our offense would probably be the guy, and it would be Ronnie. And there's been a couple guys over the years, but we were kind of built, I'd say a little different. I think that we spent so much time and energy focusing on being perfect in practice and doing, like, the expectation level was there. So everybody was always ready to play. And there's different guys, there's different personalities, and the fiery speech and the swearing and those, we're gonna call. It's like that would motivate like 5 or 6 guys on our team. It'd be like everybody, you could see our defensive linemen kind of like rolling their eyes like, holy crap. Like we'd have kind of some funny guys. Like, the expectation was already there. So you didn't need that fiery guy to fire you up to get ready to play.
Yeah.
Historically in our years. Now, there were many times where a Ronnie Lott speech would get you fired up, but it has to come from the right guy. Even our coaches, even like if Bill yelled or George yelled, you'd listen. Now, it might not have always made sense, but they were trying to get, they didn't yell all the time, so you'd certainly listen. And then maybe laugh with a couple guys afterwards. Like, man, we got some guys fired up on that one. But it's just kind of the way it is. And certain teams have certain personalities, and they're led in different ways. And there's some all-in emotional teams, and then there's some. I think Bill prided himself on us kind of being, I don't want to say academic, but more thoughtful. We already went through, we already knew, we had our first 15 plays designed, and he wanted more guys prepared and thinking instead of emotional and erratic. If that makes sense.
No, I know exactly what you mean. He was not the emotional type. He was the analytic type. That if you execute, you're gonna beat the emotional teams every single time. Give me an example. How do I phrase this? Who didn't you want to go into the locker room with and sit down and listen to him talk after a bad loss? And what was the difference in in how they handled it, whether it be Walsh or Seifert? So if you didn't play up to standard, you had to go in there. You know how coaches are. Like Don Nelson was mine. He just it was brutal, man. He just crushed you. But how was Bill? How was George after you guys didn't play up to par?
So, believe it or not, George typically wouldn't let loose after a game. I think he kind of felt like there's this calm down period where he might be stern. He might say, "Hey, we've got to get back to work," or "Hey," but he typically wouldn't lose it after a game that we didn't play up to expectations. I was with Bill for a couple of years. There was a couple times that we weren't performing well at all, and Bill freaking lit us up in the locker room, came unglued. And like, when you're a young player, you're scared to death. You're like, hey, we're going to have guys that aren't on this team anymore. And you start thinking, is that
could be me?
Like, holy shit, better not be talking about me. And so, when you're young and the coach is going off, it's way scarier than when you're an established veteran and the coach is yelling. You're like, you can yell all you want, and I listen to it, but yell at somebody else. But when you're young, you're scared and your eyes are open wide. So Bill freaking brought the heat a few times, which, thinking back, it worked. I think back to George's team. Like, we had a team that had won a Super Bowl and that has a bit more veterans. And I think George played it the way that he should have. I kind of agreed with the way that he handled himself. And I'm sure I agree with the way Bill did, because losing it in '88, absolutely losing it when we were 6-5 and we're ahead of the Cardinals 23-0 in the fourth quarter and lost 24-23. He needed to lose it, and he wanted to win the Super Bowl.
All right, before I let you run, and you get to run, let me ask you about Zach Taylor. We could get into the Pitt game, but we'll get into all the games, and I'll let you think about it this week. Should we do either we got the show on Monday, or it's a 1:30, 3:30 game your time. Bergie and I are going to do a post game. Maybe we'll have you join us on the post game. We'll just do like a three man weave type of deal, depending on what you got going on. If not, we'll do it Monday.
So the funny thing is, if the Niners would have won the other night, I was going to freaking hijack the podcast and come on in. But I was in no mood to.
You would have missed me since I had a Warrior game that night.
Oh, that's right.
We did.
I would have been trying to dial in. What?
Where are these guys? So we'll talk about that throughout the week. But so Zach Taylor, who I kind of liked. I've liked less. Not that I watched the Bengals a lot, so I don't really know. But what he said yesterday when they were playing the Browns in a game that meant nothing as far as playoffs. So for those that don't know, Myles Garrett broke the record as 23 sacks for the year. TJ Watt, 22 and a half. Strahan, I think it was 22 and a half. And they stopped the game to honor him. They do it all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, we remember when Barry was breaking records out here. Stop the game for Barry, honor him, blah, 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 whatever. And then you move. You just, it's an acknowledgement. Like it's history. It's historical. This is historical. He owns. Now, don't say, well, what about the game? I don't care about that right now. He owns the record. Stop the game, acknowledge him, move on. Well, Zach Taylor, the head coach of the Bengals, they were driving at the time and wanted to get back up on the ball and get the show moving. He wanted to use some tempo. And he said, well, I couldn't use any tempo because, we did stop the game and we're out here fighting for our lives, which made me laugh. I'm like, seriously, you're fighting for your lives? Were you kidding me? Like, you realize this game means, I don't want to say it means nothing to the players because when you're playing in a game, it means something to you, but please, overly dramatic a little bit.
Thanks,
I just thought,
playoffs guy.
Yeah, I just thought that was so weak, Brent. It's like,
weak.
Let's acknowledge the guy. He just broke a record. He has the most sacks ever in a season in NFL history. Let's acknowledge him for a minute and then move on. Again, it's not a playoff game. I don't want to minimize it because, anytime you go out there and play and you're a competitor, you want to win the game. So I get it. And you could feel that way. Just don't say it. It just looks like sour grapes. You look like a sour puss.
I agree 1,000%. Here's a way to keep the celebration from happening. Don't give him the sack.
Don't give him the sack.
There you go. I mean, everybody's blocking Myles Garrett. Nobody can block him. The guy's a freaking stud, and he's dealt with double teams and chips and stuff and comes into the last game. Good for him, and they should. I mean, Cleveland doesn't have a whole lot to be happy about. They fired their coach today. So, man, 6 coaches got freaking dinged.
I know.
Pete Carroll.
I think Stefanski is going to get snapped up very quickly. I like Stefanski.
I do too. When the Browns are jinxed for life, Cleveland.
Yeah.
And that's good because then we have somebody to make fun of every year. So, but yeah, no, Zach came off like a sourpuss, and dude, you're not in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Your team's underperformed. Shut up.
You shut up. Just keep moving. All right, quick one. Favorite matchup of the weekend that's not Niners Eagles.
Ooh, coming up. Let's see.
So you got the Bears Packers. I'm just going to discount the Rams in Carolina. That shouldn't be. You get the Bills and the Jaguars.
I actually think so. I was going to say Bears and Packers, but I think the Bills and the Jags are the game that I want to watch because the Jags are so far under the radar, and they've really been good on both sides of the ball, and they're a outside lane shot at the Super Bowl, and they are in Buffalo. Week 1, they're playing in Buffalo, aren't they? Or they
playing in Jacksonville.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, Buffalo. Buffalo's a wild card.
I forgot about that. I should know that. Anyway, you think of Jacksonville, you don't think, they won their division, but
yeah. No, I mean Trevor Lawrence played well this year. They've the defense has been really good this year, so
it's going to be a good matchup, right? There's always a couple not great matchups, and there's always a couple great ones. I think Bears Packers will be a real good game, and I think the Jags game will be a good game, and I think the Niners game will be a good game.
Yeah, and I should let people know this too. I think I told people that if the Niners were the 6th seed, they could avoid the Rams and the Seahawks until the conference finals. That's not the case. They're probably going to end up playing either the Seahawks or the Rams in the following round. Because if Green Bay wins, then they're going to play the Seahawks. So that would take out the 2 seed. If the Niners win, they'll take out the 3 seed. So they're going to be the next highest. And then if the Rams win, they'll be the 5. They'll be the second highest seed. So anyway, it'll be Rams, Niners if those 2 things happen. Now, if Green Bay doesn't win, then the Niners win, then they'll go to Seattle because they'll be the highest remaining seed. So I thought, at least they won't have to play those 2 teams. No, they're going to have to play them. Ultimately, you got to beat teams to get to where you want to go. It really doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter that much. And you could say it'd be nice to avoid this team. Boy, it'd be nice. Oh, maybe they could beat them for us. We wouldn't have to. you're going to have to beat somebody. You're going to have to beat somebody really good to advance, and it's going to start this weekend against the Eagles. And I'm looking forward to getting the Niners back to Philadelphia, and fingers crossed, hey, this time Purdy's going to play. This time Purdy won't get knocked out in the first 4 snaps of the game or whatever it was. So, and I think the Eagles are beatable. I definitely think they're beatable this year. Are they favored for a reason? Yeah, they're favored for a reason, no doubt about it. But it should be a fun game. I'm looking forward to it. So we will talk. Before I let you go, how's the arm doing?
Oh man, it's good. My bionic arm.
I see that. Sweet,
huh? It's to keep me from doing anything stupid. It sucks trying to put a jacket on, but everything else is pretty good.
No, man.
Bionic arm is
bionic arm. Steve Austin. God, I love that show.
It was
the
so
$6 million man.
Man,
and
wish I could run that fast.
Bionic woman.
Bionic woman.
Do you remember who starred in those shows?
Lindsay Wagner, Steve Major.
Yep. There you go.
Look at that, baby.
Look at that. And who was Steve Majors married to?
Ooh, good question. Mrs. Majors.
Farrah Fawcett.
Oh, that's right.
He was married to Farrah Fawcett for a little bit. So anyway, a little trivia for you on the way out.
Love that. Monday trivia. Hey, let's hope we're smiling next week or next Saturday night.
Sunday night.
Sunday night.
Well, I mean, you can smile Saturday night. There's no reason you can't smile Saturday night.
Because I'm going to be fired up for us to put a whooping on the Eagles.
There you go. So put a smile on your face Saturday night. Tell Dan and the family I said hi. We'll talk to you either we'll talk to you Sunday or we'll talk to you Monday.
Sounds good, brother.
All right, Brent. Have a go, man.
All right, Tommy. Thanks, buddy.
Take it easy. All right, brother. There you go. Love talking to Brent every single Monday. All right, let's get to the real quick. Let's get to the Ravens game last night. That was 2 games in 1. We got 2 for the price of 1 last night. We got a full-on Ravens-Steelers game for about 3.5 quarters. Typical grinder of a game. Not a ton of offense. 13-10, and then all hell breaks loose. It just goes bananas. Steelers forget how to cover deep. The Ravens forget how to kick. Steelers forget how to kick. You had a slip on a third down. You had an incredible completion on a fourth down. Like it was up until I think it was 8:42 of the fourth quarter. It was a pretty normal game, pretty standard Ravens Steelers. And then you had Flowers. I don't know how Lamar Jackson got out of that. It was tackled by 2 guys. He just slipped him. They had him dead to rights. He slipped him, moved up in the pocket, and then chucked it deep to Zay Flowers. And you're like, oh my, that was wow. That was Lamar Jackson. And then Loop kicks it out of bounds. My guy Tyler Loop from Arizona, bear down. Ouch. You can't do that. I thought that was a big mistake. Unfortunately for him, not the biggest mistake he would make from that point on. So the Steelers get the ball, drive right down the field, and then they just start giving away timeouts like candy at Halloween. Like, hey, you want a timeout? Who wants a timeout? You want a timeout? We got a timeout. We'll tell you timeout. You want a timeout? They got down inside the 5-yard line. 2 timeouts later. One seemed to be just a flat wasted timeout because they couldn't get the play in. The other was a helmet looked like something was wonky with the helmet. So Rodgers calls another timeout. All of a sudden, you're out of timeouts, but at least they score. So they score, retake the lead. You're like, wow, this has been just, what happened? What happened to this game? And then about a minute and a half later, Zay Flowers again for 50-plus yards. Wide ass open. WAO. Just nobody around him. Like, what happened? The Steelers just went, I don't know what they went. They out to lunch. We're not going to cover guys deep anymore. And especially we're not going to cover their most dangerous receiver. So Zay Flowers again for 50-plus yards. And you're thinking, oh, my goodness. Man, that's rough. Now, they get the kick. And I want to say, was this the one they got the? I'm not sure. I'm getting confused now whether which one Loop kicked out of bounds. Maybe it's the first one or the second one. I'm not sure. Anyway, Steelers get the ball right back down the field, and Austin gets a 30-yard touchdown when the DB slips on the left-hand side. And oh, by the way, I should let you know, I'm watching this with Weston, who's a huge Ravens fan. He was just going through it. He was absolutely going through it. I think it was Awara, the cornerback that slipped. And he was just going through it like, oh my God, we suck. Oh, we're gonna win. We suck. We're gonna win. And then ultimately, they get the touchdown, and you're thinking, oh, they're gonna go up 3 here. Boswell misses the extra point. As Mike Tirico pointed out, first time this year, missed an extra point. He's missed 2 in 4 years. And that thing took a hard right. So you're thinking, oh boy, got the lead, but you're only up 2. Tough. Here come the Ravens. About a minute left. Here come the Ravens down the field. Get to a 4th and 7. 4th and 7, and Lamar Jackson makes an incredible throw to Lively. Just right over the linebacker, right in front of the safety, or I guess it's Ramsey. And they get the ball, timeout. So I think they get the ball. It ended up being a 44-yard field goal. So they had the ball at like the 25. Snap it, yard loss, knee. There's like 10 seconds left. People were bitching and complaining about why not run a play. You got 1 timeout left. Well, you know they're not throwing it, period. You could run it. I mean, you could have run it up the middle. Get 2 or 3 yards instead of losing a yard on the kneel down. I wouldn't have been super opposed to that, but I mean, it's 3-4 yards. So it's a 44-yard as opposed to a 40-yard field goal. I didn't mind what they did. I didn't mind at all. I mean, you take the turnover. You're probably not going to fumble. 99 point whatever. You're not going to fumble that ball. But why take the chance? You're not gaining a ton. You may not gain anything because you know Pittsburgh's playing for the run, period. So here comes Loop, rookie at Arizona. It was missed from the time it hit his foot. It was never inside the uprights. It was just wonk, straight right. I felt horrible for him. I was like, oh, man, rough. Kick it out of bounds. Kick it out of bounds, you would have thought that would have been the worst part of the fourth quarter for him. Oh, no. And everybody forgets about Boswell now because Boswell missed the extra point. He makes that, they win. You don't go to overtime, they win. And Boswell's thinking, oh, my God, I'm going to be the GOAT now. Nope. No, you're not. Nobody even remembers. Nobody remembers you missed the extra point. All they remember is Loop. And miss that. That was 2 games in 1. It was a regular Ravens-Steeler game for about 3.5 quarters, and then it just went bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. So they get the Texans at home on Monday night. We'll see. I mean, I like the Texans in that game, but they do get DK Metcalf back. Cam Hayward is just such a stud. Such a stud. He's so good. Just big, physical, athletic, and then you get Watt on the outside, Hightower. I mean, it's a good defense. Offense is certainly limited, no doubt about it. But I like all these matchups. The Panthers-Rams game, I think, I don't want to say the Rams can't. I mean, the Panthers can't at least cover that game. You never know in the playoffs. Whenever one thinks one thing's going to happen, a lot of times the other thing happens. So maybe I think it does help the Rams that they lost to Carolina. Like, they're not going to walk in there thinking, oh, we're going to crush this team. They just lost to them about, I don't know, month and a half ago. So it's the playoffs, and they lost. They'll have their hackles up. But Rams, I think. Packers, Bears. Whew. If I had to, I'd probably go Packers in that. Don't have to. I think the Niners are getting 4 against the Eagles. I would definitely take the Niners plus the 4. I'd take them plus. I'm getting plus points there with an offense that struggles. I'll go with the Niners in that one. Probably Jags. I think Jags have been playing better. Jags been good. They have. I haven't watched them a ton this year, but man, you watch them play against some good teams. They own Denver in Denver. That was as well as anybody's played in Denver. They were really, really good. Again, Lawrence has been good. Etienne's had kind of a resurgent year. The defense has been really good this year. So Liam Cohn's done a real nice job with that team. I don't know if I necessarily want to bet against Josh Allen. Patriots, Chargers. I'll probably go Chargers plus the points, and I probably would have to go Pittsburgh plus the points. I mean, it's hard not to take the points and Pittsburgh at home. I mean, Tomlin as an underdog's really, really good. And again, last night, getting points. I thought I was going to need all of them. I had him plus 4.5. They're 4.5. I go, I got to take him now at the end of the game, 4.5. It was 3.5. Then it went to 4. Then it went back down to 3.5. I was like, let me wait and see if it gets to 4. And then it went to 4.5. I was like, I'm going to take it now. And then it looked like they might lose by 4. And I was like, oh, look how smart I am. I got the extra. It didn't matter. Didn't matter. They went out right anyway. So who cares? All right. If you want to get to some comments, we can certainly do that. And for those, let me calm everybody down. For those people that got all freaked out, and it probably wasn't many of you people, but for those people that got freaked out about what Steve Kerr said on the show last week about their place in the NBA right now, not realistically being championship favorites or lumped in with the championship favorites. I just, some people don't like to hear the truth. That's just where they are right now. And Steve never said they couldn't win a championship. Basically what he was saying is going to be really tough. And they just want to give themselves a chance at it. And if they give themselves a chance at it, then you never know what can happen once you make it to the playoffs. But anybody that thinks they are better than OKC, they're better. I mean, they did beat the San Antonio one's weird because I think San Antonio is better, but they beat San Antonio twice. I think Denver's better when Denver is healthy. Houston's probably better when Houston's healthy. And again, remember this. Trade deadline's coming up. We're not sure exactly what the Warriors are going to look like post All-Star break. They could look different. I didn't give them much of a chance last year until they got Butler. And who knows what happens last year if Steph stays healthy against Minnesota. I think they win that series, but it doesn't matter what I think. All I know is what happened, and they didn't win that series. So if they get another player for Kuminga, maybe they might have traded a 1 or 2. You don't want to give up your whole future, though. You don't want to be, and Steve mentioned this, you don't want to be teams that have lost your drafts and still aren't very good. And so Lou's not like digging. She's like, really? We're going to talk Warriors now? Are you kidding me? It's 2:00. What are we doing? And so, like, are the Warriors better with Draymond coming off the bench? I don't know. Look, yeah, you have to understand this as well, that you're dealing with a guy who has a lot of pride, is a Hall of Famer, is a champion, an Olympian, an all-star. You're dealing with people here. And I know some people just think, well, you're the coach. Do what you're going to do with Draymond. Just do. Who cares? It doesn't work that way. This isn't college. This isn't high school. This is the NBA, where the players make twice, if not 3 times, 4 times more than the coach. So it's just, there's dynamics that are at play when you're talking professional sports that you're not taught. You can't just say, oh, you're the coach. Be Bear Bryant. Be Woody Hayes. Sorry. It's not, that's not the way it works. It just isn't. Is he better coming off the bench? I don't know. I mean, who are you going to start? I mean, we know Steph's starting. Right now it's Moses, Butler, Draymond, and Post. So if you have Draymond, here's the problem with Draymond right now, is his offense hasn't been great. And he turns the ball over way too much. Way too much. And that's up to Draymond. Like, again, Steve can tell him, hey, we got to take care. But Draymond's going to do what Draymond's going to do. This is how these guys play. But his turnovers this year, some of them have just been absolutely egregious. And you can't get kicked out of the game against you. I mean, against Utah, you get kicked out of the game because you're arguing. What was he arguing at the 3-second call? And he goes and argues with the official as Lauri Markkanen drives right by him for a dunk. So it's 2 points for the dunk and then 2 points for the technicals. Like he just basically gave up 4 points right there. So I don't know what you do. It's interesting because when Draymond does play in big games, he can play and still kind of have that impact that he's had over the course of his career, but it's just not going to be as consistent. It just isn't. And so it's going to be interesting to see what they do. Yeah, I mean, look, I like Jimmy with the. Here's the problem, though. And Bill says limit Butler's minutes with Steph and Dre and keep letting him work with the bench guys, bench mob. The problem with Jimmy is like I don't know if he wants to be the focal point of the offense, or he just kind of wants to. Like he'll figure, like I think he thinks he'll just figure, like I'll figure my way through this. Like I don't need to have plays run for me. You can just give me the ball, and I'll find a way to get the ball, and I'll find a way to impact the offense. They're just not great offensively. They're just not. But let's see what they look like after the trade deadline. I can't imagine Kuminga's here. I just can't imagine Kuminga's here. I mean, Kuminga had a chance a couple nights ago to play when everybody was out, and he had a bad back, and I don't know. So look, I don't think it's a secret that Steve would rather he be somewhere else. And I don't think it's a secret that Kuminga would rather be somewhere else. It just makes more sense. It just makes too much sense. Now, what can you get for him? Do you package him with something bigger, more salary to get something bigger? I know Anthony Davis has been bandied about. I don't see Anthony Davis salary plus injuries. I mean, the health is an issue. So again, if you're going to make a deal, it's got to be something that clearly makes you better this year and gives you a chance to win a championship. Because while Steph is still one of the best players in the NBA, you'd like to give the team the best chance to win a championship. And that always bothers me when they say give Steph a chance to win a championship. Like, what about everybody else? Everybody else wants to win too. Like, only Steph wants to win a championship? Like, yeah, I'd like to get Steph. It'd be great. Get Steph another championship, but everyone else is coming along too. It's not like he's the only one that gets a ring. They raise a banner for Steph. They will raise one for him one day, but not a championship banner. Like, what gives your team the best chance without going overboard? Like, that's what you don't want to do. You don't want to make a trade that gives you a minimal bump and you give up some of your future. Now, I'm not saying I'm completely tied to the future because you never know how you're going to draft. The Kuminga draft didn't work out. The Wiseman draft didn't work out. The Moody draft has been kind of, up and down. I like Moody. And for a 14th pick, pretty good value. So you don't know exactly what you're going to get with the draft, but you do need the draft because that lowers the payroll. You get players that can contribute without having to pay 30, 40, 50, 60 million dollars. It's like the NFL. That's why drafts are so important. Not only do you replenish the talent, but you replenish it at a fraction of the cost of guys that are in their 5th year or 6th year, free agency, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, they do need to hit on some of these drafts. You're not guaranteed that, but what is out there that gives them a legit chance to beat OKC? I mean, that's what they gotta ask themselves. And so, all right, you got any comments? You want to talk hoops? You want to talk Warriors? We can do that. The Warriors could put up points early. I think they might beat the Eagles. Look, Sal. I think that they have not quite a 50-50 chance, but right around there. Again, Philadelphia has not been great this year. Philadelphia has kind of just their defense can be really good. Let me get you some numbers here. I think they're really good at stopping the run. Let me see. Defense, total defense, rushing defense, opponent yards per rush attempt. Let's see where Philly's at. Opponent yards per rush attempt. Shocker, Seattle's number 1, by the way. Seattle's 3.7, so not a surprise they couldn't run against Seattle. Philadelphia this year is not as good as they thought. They're 4.3 yards per rush attempt. They're right in the middle of the pack, 16. So right in the middle of the pack. Let's see what they are yards. Let's see what they are passing defense this year. And I always go per yards per play. So in this one, I'll look at opponents' yards per passing attempt and see where they are. Now, this isn't the be-all, end-all, but Denver's number 1 at 5.4. Seattle's number 2 at 5.5. So it gives you an idea of where a team ranks offensively and defensively. Philadelphia, they're 7th, 5.9. So they're 7th in the league in yards per pass attempt. So, again, their offense has scuffled. Their defense is good. I think the Niners have a 50-50 shot at this, maybe a little less, but right there. I don't think Philadelphia is, you know this, Philadelphia is not the team we've seen. So while going into Philadelphia is not going to be easy, defending champs and all, and they still have some really good players on their team. You know, it's more than just doable. It's not like, hey, we got a shot. Yeah, I think they have better than a shot. And so it should be a fun game. Should be a fun day. You got 3 games on Sunday. It's a fun weekend. You get 2 games Saturday, 3 games Sunday, 1 game Monday. So it'll be a fun weekend of football. All right, a few more. Then we'll get on out of here. So I can go. I'm on pickup duty. We're back to school pickup duty. Is what we are. And by the way, I'm going to throw this out there before we get to our next comment. Anybody out there that's watching and or listening that watched Stranger Things and watched the finale and thought, that's it? Like, what? Anybody? Yeah, JK was supposed to be a guy. JK is not that guy. Like, he just isn't. We all know this now. And he does it. It's, again, it's not a perfect match. Not anywhere near a perfect match. He doesn't fit into the system. And so, Bear said I thought so too. Yeah, I was very underwhelmed. My whole family was underwhelmed. And we all watched it separately for some reason. Haley couldn't wait, so she watched it at night. I watched it the next day, and then Lori had something going on, so she watched it the next night. She was actually behind. And we all watched it. I thought, like, I don't know. Like, Vecna seemed really easy to kill there at the end. And do we need an hour at the end of the show, wrapping up the entire show? Do we need an hour on graduation? I thought something was going to happen. I was like, ooh, this is about to get wild here the last hour. This is going to. Nope. Nothing. We got nothing. We got graduation, playing D&D in the basement. Okay, that's cool. I mean, that was a theme of the show, but I didn't. Although it was better. Look, I'll give it this. It was better than Game of Thrones finale, which was like they woke up one morning and realized they had to submit the finale in 2 hours and thought, oh shit, what do we do? Good question. Let's figure something out. The Game of Thrones finale was brutal, but not as brutal as my guy Dexter. The first finale on Dexter was just like, Like, how do you you can't wrap a show up? And those are like three of my favorite shows. Although Stranger Things I liked not nearly as much as Game of Thrones, and Dexter is probably one of my favorite shows of all time. But the finales just leave you like, and I won't say this one left me unsatisfied. It was just kind of disappointing. You know what I wanted? Here's what I wanted. Yeah, it was dog shit. It was bad. Here's what I wanted. I wanted someone to die. Like, we're gonna go through the entire series with this supernatural beast, these demigods. I mean, demigorgons or whatever the hell, I can't even remember the name of them. And like, no one dies. No, season one was and I like Stranger Things. Look, I'm a fan. I just didn't like the finale. But I wanted someone dead. It would have felt more authentic to me if someone dies at the end. I know 11 died, but whatever. And then they even made that like, did she? Oh, spoiler alert. If you haven't watched it yet, you're like, Tom, hey, woo, easy. Well, I figure if you're a fan of the show, you're watching it right when it came out. But that's it? Yeah, she did. Or did she? Not really sure. I don't know. I just feel like in shows like that, like, give me someone dying. Give me someone dying. That's okay. I was into my new shows last night. I've moved on. We got Landman now. We got Mayor of Kingston. That's a really good one. Jeremy Renner. Big fan. Yeah, that's a good one. Mayor of Kingstown. Yeah, I like that one a lot. So watched the first episode last night. I didn't even know that one was on. That one's coming. There's like 7 of them. I'm like, nice. 7 of them. We're good to go. So yeah, I got those 2 shows. I was able to avoid the night. I did. I snuck in there at halftime of the Warriors game. For those that don't know, I was trying to avoid the Niners score Saturday night, and I did. Got there at halftime, stayed in the broadcast booth until well after the game was over. Everybody cleared out, went down, came home, and I was like, damn, I should have just found out. But I know they're going to score 3 points. Just tell me. I got to avoid all the scores, and I get home. It's like, oh, that kind of sucked. And so anyway, but yes, I was. And this week we are going to do a post-game show. So there may be some Warrior games that I'm hit or miss. And so anyway, I'm just looking at some of the comments. Oh yeah, Your Honor. I like Your Honor. Your Honor is good with Bryan Cranston. I did enjoy that. And so yeah. All right, I'm gonna get out. We'll be back. So what we're doing Wednesday is John Wilner will be with us on Wednesday. And then Friday, Dennis, and we're not sure. We're going to try to get a hold of a guest or two that don't want to let you know who it is this weekend. We need to get Drew, too. We need to get Drew back and get a little Sharks check-in. Macklin Celebrini, 19 years old, representing Team Canada at the Olympics. Look, I know you love Macklin. I love watching Macklin. For 2 weeks, it's going to be like, no, sorry. It's all about USA, baby. Let's go. My cousin is in the Oh, really? Are you kidding me? He's the guy that just went to jail? He went to jail in the first episode? Don't tell me what happened. You think you're going to come back and go, yeah, he got shanked. Appreciate it. I like that guy too. So, yeah, I like that show a lot. Taylor Sheridan. I think I do like 3,000. I think I does every show. Like every show I look at, it's like Taylor Sheridan show. So I guess I like Taylor Sheridan shows. So anyway, all right. Yeah, I better get going. It's raining outside. You know, Camila waiting in the rain. And so appreciate you guys joining. Like, subscribe. And again, if you're observing Dry January, Fieldwork has the NA beer for you. And if you happen to be down at the tank, taking in some San Jose Sharks hockey. Fieldwork is the official non-alcoholic beer of the San Jose Sharks. And we're going to try to put something together at some point where we go do the show over next to the ballpark, China Basin. So we'll let you know when that happens. But we're going to try to get over there and do a show. It's a beautiful location right on the McCovey Cove there, overlooking the ballpark. It's super cool. It's going to be even cooler when the weather's really good and ball games are going on. Can't wait to get over there and grab a field work, maybe grab a game, and we'll do it. We'll do a show from over there. We'll have you guys come out and do a show maybe before a Giants game, but we'll try to do something even before then. Get over there and do a show. That'll be fun. So everybody have a great night, a great day. What do we got on today, by the way? FCS National Championship game and Warriors Clippers tonight. So we got enough to keep us busy. We'll be good to go. I like it. All right. I'll talk to you guys on Wednesday. See you.
And remember this, Tommy T, cash and tickets is what it's all about.